Keep that floor finished?
We ran out,
Really?
couldn't even finish the room. We thought we'd have enough at least to get into the closet, but so I told her, I said, you're gonna need at least another box, if not two.
Right.
So,
Hey, it looked good.
hey, thank you for your help.
Yeah.
That was,
Well,
hey, guys. Morning.
Is it ready?
You bet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
You want to put up your, sorry, just minimize that, put your spot share back up.
Can't see that far. Does the mouse work?
Mhm.
Oh, there it is.
You share screen.
I'm gonna go, I'm.
Thank you for that out there with it.
There it is.
Be sure. Zoom still. Zoom email.
Oh.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah, just make sure.
I was just cold or nervous.
Thanks for everything here.
Guys, thanks for coming.
You bet.
So I love coming up here to do this for you guys, but I also get super nervous anytime I'm speaking in front of people. So like, if I start pacing or talking really fast, that's just me. How many, was anybody here? Hey, I know you were here last time. Was anybody else here last time, Bob? Okay. So this is just gonna be a refresher. Last time I did this, Tina and I shared the hour, so we didn't really have a ton of time. I'm gonna go through, it's the exact same slides, the same presentation, but I'm gonna leave time at the end for Q&A. Because I get a ton of people that ask me, how do I do this? How do I build it? How do I present it? And I'm gonna go through how I do it, but then I'm gonna let you guys ask me whatever you guys want at the end. Is that fair? You guys okay if I show you how to make some more money? Yeah. So most of you guys know me. I'll qualify myself first. I've been in real estate, that should say 7 years now, but I didn't fix it, so that's my fault. And 2 years in, I started the Tolley group, and I got Rookie of the Year the first year, closing 27 transactions as a part-time agent. Before real estate, I've been in sales forever. I've sold everything from cars to gym memberships, training packages, merchant services, oil, energy. I've sold it all. So I'm a really big nerd when it comes to the words I use and the processes I use that helps influence people to make decisions. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So jumping right in, I already covered the introduction. We're going to talk about what a tiered commission structure is and why we should use one. We're going to talk about how to create it, how to present it, and then open it up for questions at the end. Before I jump into the tiered commission structure, I wanted to spend like 10 or 15 minutes on like a quick crash course on sales. Are you guys okay with that? Cool. All right. I need a volunteer. Someone. Hey. Nobody? Come on up. I won't embarrass you, I promise. I want you to write something that you write all the time. How many times a day do you write your signature?
Signature?
Signature. Well, now probably not as many because you know electronic signature. But before that, you probably did it quite often, right? Sure. So when I say go, I just want you to write your signature. You said go. Okay, cool. So this time, I want you to do the exact same thing. You want it to look just like this. Okay. I want you to do it over here. But this time, I want you to do it with your other hand. Looks a little different, a little bit, right? But it's close. How did it feel? Awkward. Awkward? Yeah. Yeah. What if I told you you had to write with the opposite hand for the next 6 months? You'd probably figure it out. Probably wouldn't be too happy about it. It'd be frustrating, right?
Yeah, but it would work.
It would work. Sure. Yep. Why did I do that? Anytime we're trying to sell somebody something, anytime we're trying to sell them on the idea of something, what are we really asking them to do? Okay, get out of their comfort zone. What else?
Make us change.
Change. We're asking them to implement some kind of change. And we know that change can be uncomfortable, right? So when we talk with somebody and we're asking them to do something, it's really uncomfortable for them to do. So how do we get them to do something that's uncomfortable that they really just don't want to do? What are the two emotions that drive every decision?
Fear.
Fear, okay.
Pain and pleasure.
Pain and pleasure, right? Which one works better? Pain or pleasure?
Pain.
Pain. Why?
We don't like to feel it.
Do we all agree that pain works better than pleasure? You want me to prove it? So I can't take credit for this scenario. I got this from Phil Jones. You guys don't know who Phil Jones is, look it up. He's an awesome sales trainer. He gives this scenario that you're in a really tall building and you're on the 30th floor. 50 feet across, there's another really tall building. The only thing connecting the two buildings is a tightrope going out the 30th floor window. If I said to you guys, how many of you guys want to walk the tightrope, how many of you guys would do it? Not too many. What about for $100? $500, $1,000, $10,000, $50,000. None of you guys are running towards pleasure. Switch this scenario up. Let's say we're in that same building, same tightrope, but it's getting really hot. There's smoke bellowing in through the vents. The building is on fire. We have no idea how long we have until that building collapses. How many of you guys are going to walk that tightrope now? We all run away from pain if the pain is great enough. Right? How does this tie into what I'm going to talk to you guys about today? The only thing that's going to differentiate you guys from every other agent out there is the problem that you're going to solve and how you're going to solve it. The problem is most of us don't even know how to identify a problem. Okay, so we're going to talk more about that. But I wanted to, are we all in agreement that everybody runs away from pain? Yeah, okay. So it's our job to figure out and identify what the problem is and what pain that is causing for our clients. And that's going to feed directly into the tiered commission structure. And that's how we're going to ask for more money and how people are going to be glad to give us more money. How many people do the same listing presentation for every appointment? You know you have an appointment, you have your listing presentation already set up, you come in, grab your listing presentation, you go to the appointment. Do you guys customize every single listing appointment to your client?
Not every single one, but I think it changes depending on what type of listing I'm going to.
Okay.
Modified a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, depending upon situation.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We all agree that every seller is different. Every seller's situation is different. So if every seller's situation is different, then the solution we have to provide can be different too, right? So if all of that is true, what benefit is it to the seller if we're coming up and we're just doing the same presentation that we do for every other client? How does that differentiate us from any other agent? It doesn't, right? So what I want to try to get you guys to understand is that everybody's running away from pain. Everybody that we talk to that's thinking about selling is clearly trying to get away from something, right? Because they're willing to implement change, which we already know is uncomfortable, to get out of the current situation they're in. It's our job to figure out why. This is the tiered commission structure that I use. And I want to talk about the percentages. 4, 6, and 7. Does anybody remember why I chose 4, 6, and 7 from last time? No? What's 4% look like? It says you're going to get an MLS write-up, you're going to get a yard time, you're going to get a lockbox, and I might show up at closing. What does that look like? Like a flat rate service, MLS service, right? You pay the guys, they put it on MLS, and that's pretty much all you get. If I'm meeting with somebody, I already know they don't want this option, because if they did, they wouldn't be meeting with me. Right? They would have called that flat rate service person, right? What's the 6%? Everything that's here, plus you get professional photography, you get a coming soon marketing campaign, you get social media blasts, you get, I'm gonna coordinate the showings. What's that look like? Every other agent's gonna do, right? So this is just, option 6 is just lumping you in with every other agent. Now, if we've done a good enough job talking to the client before the appointment and we've done our homework, we know that the problem we're trying to solve should be put in 7%. Okay, so this one here, I use the Move for Free program. I have other ones too, and I'll tell you a story about that in a little bit. But whenever you can identify the problem that you're going to solve for the client, that's how you're going to differentiate yourself, because nobody else is going to offer that. That's what you're going to put in a 7% option, and then I'm going to show you how to get them to select that option. Okay. I lost my spot. So 4, 6, and 7. Why didn't I do 5, 6, 7? Everybody wants 5%. Everybody wants 5%. As soon as you go into a listing appointment, that seller's already thinking in their head how they're going to negotiate 5% with you. And if you put it up here, what's going to end up happening is they're going to say, well, I want this option, but can you give me some of this? I want to leave a big enough gap so that they don't try to go for the 5%, but I've solved enough problems that makes them want the 7%. How do you guys think people choose 7% over 6% more often? When I'm going into an appointment, I know that that seller is going to try to negotiate me down to 5%. How do I get them to go for the 7? How many of you guys have ever gone to the grocery store? Go ahead.
Well, the 6% is only 1% difference of the 7, and you get all the service. You get the most potential out of it instead of just getting. If they're gonna pick the 6% anyway, why not go 1% more to get all the services you can instead of just doing the basic at 4%?
All right. How many of you guys have gone shopping? Whatever you're looking for, you see this brand and this brand, and it looks the exact same. You can't tell a difference between the two, but you buy the more expensive one. Have you guys ever done that? I have. Why do we do that? Because
Or I don't do that.
why do some people do that? But we can't tell the difference. We're in the store. I'll make it something simple. We're at the grocery store and we're buying. I don't know.
Perceived to be a better.
Yeah.
quality.
Receiving, right? We get
Yeah.
FOMO. We're like, this is more expensive, but I don't know why. It's not that much more expensive, so I'm gonna pick that because I don't want to miss out on this quality that I might be missing out on. It's no different here. They're gonna go for that higher one as long as you can show them the value that comes with it.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So this is that percent, that 7% is just for the listing side, or are you referring like this would be split between you and the buyer agent?
No, 7%, that's split between me and the buyer's agent.
Okay.
The
I was
buyer's
just
agent
making
would get 3% and you would get the 4% because you're providing the additional value.
Okay, just checking. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So it just goes in the same, if we want to ask for more money, we want to solve more problems. So I'll tell you a real quick story. I had a client that originally came through because he wanted a cash offer. I was talking to him and I was learning more about his situation. Come to find out, he didn't want a cash offer. He just wanted an easy sale because he's an out-of-state real estate investor. He lives in New York. So after talking to him, really, he just didn't want to deal with the sale of the property. He was out of state. He didn't know what condition the property was in. He didn't know anybody to get in there to get it in the condition it needed to be in to resell. So after talking to him, presented an option, which was basically me covering management of the property up until it's sold, which involved me doing a walkthrough, getting some contractors in there to kind of spruce it up a little bit, overseeing those contractors, putting it on the market and sell. He didn't have to talk to any contractors. He didn't have to manage them. He didn't have to see the house. He just trusted me to do it. I got 7% for that listing. Then 2 weeks later, he calls me, says he has 3 more properties he wants to sell. Those properties are currently having worked on. 2 weeks ago, he calls me, says he has 4 more in Baltimore he wants to sell. So one person who called wanting a cash offer on one property, just because I was able to provide that additional value, turned into 9 listings. Okay, so when we're creating this, there's a few questions that I want you to ask. I want you to ask yourself, what kind of client do we have? What problems can we solve? I mean, give me some different examples of some different sellers, different types of sellers. Investors. What else? Right. Distressed sellers. What else?
Move up,
Move up.
reload.
Okay, relocation. Senior citizens.
Downside.
Downsizing. Couples getting a divorce. Right? So we know what kind of sellers that we're going to run into. So what problems can we solve for each of those sellers? Senior citizen. We're calling because their house is too big. They need to downsize because they can't maintain the property. What problem can we solve for that senior citizen? Of course, we can help them sell their house, but so can every other agent. What problem can we solve that no other agent's going to solve?
Find a home in the community, that's another one. And we'll take care of like mom and stuff like that.
Okay.
Line up maintenance for the exterior,
Maintenance for the exterior,
so you sell it like landscaping. Moving,
moving. What about an investor? What problems can we solve for an investor? I just gave you my story around pre-sale property management. What else can we do for an investor?
line up contractors.
Line
It's
of
just-
contractors, yeah, same thing. Couples getting a divorce. Someone that inherited property. There's so many different problems that come along with each situation. I can't stress the importance of diving deep into the current situation of everybody that we talk to. I train my team heavily on how to dive deep into those current situations because that's where the problems are. That's how we determine how we're going to ask for more money. If you talk to somebody and they say that they want to move because their house is too small, they need to upsize. What's the problem? Is the problem that the house is too small? Or is that the situation? If we dive a little bit deeper, we ask them, okay, the house is too small. Like, can you explain to me, like, how do you mean by that? You want a bigger house? Help me understand why that's so important to you. What happens if you continue living in a small house? Oh, your wife is pregnant and you're having another baby and you need an extra bedroom so your kids don't have to share bedrooms and they don't fight and they don't create conflict between the family. Like, it goes so deep, but if we don't ask those questions, we can't figure out what problems to solve. So as we're having these conversations, before we even get to the home or to the appointment, we should be doing our homework around what can we solve for this client? And that's what we're going to put in that 7% option. Because no other agent is doing that. Every other agent is coming in saying, yes, I can help you sell your house and help you buy a new house. They're not helping them with the current problem at hand. Now, something like that with the stairs, needing an extra bedroom, that would be solved by finding them a bigger house, right? But how do we know that there's not a more underlying problem if we don't dig for it? So in a situation like that, where I haven't identified like the root problem, I would just use the Move for Free program because who likes to move? Nobody likes to pack stuff up and move. That's eliminating a huge headache for everybody that's moving. So that's why I use that as an example because that's like my go-to. But if I find something Like the investor that I told you about, where I could do pre-sale property management for him and get contractors in there to do that work, that's when I go in and I tweak it. And then I present it to him. And that's how you're gonna get more money from him. Because you're providing something that nobody else is providing. Does that make sense? All right. Once we have it figured out what we're gonna present, right? We have the 7% option, we have that unique selling proposition in there that we've identified. How do we get them to go for it? This is where like the nerd in me comes out, because this is the process I take them through, and it's really just the psychology around how they're gonna make the decision. And it's really just about the order in which you present it. So before I even show them a consumer notice or anything, like we've done the tour, we've gone through the whole house, we're sitting down. Before we even get to a consumer notice, I'm showing them this. This is just an easy out agreement. This just says that everything we're about to sign, if you change your mind, I'll rip it up. It gives people the peace of mind. It takes all the pressure off of the appointment, because who likes signing contracts? Nobody. I don't like signing a gym membership contract, let alone a contract to sell my house. So I go through the property with them, I'm walking around, I'm asking them a bunch of questions, and then I finally sit down with them and I go through this. Say, listen, I want to work with clients that want to work with me. What kind of agent would I be if I forced you to work with me because of a piece of paper? So this just says that anything that we sign and we go over today and sign, if you change your mind, it's okay. We'll part ways, no hard feelings. Because I want you to want to work with me. I don't want you to work with me because of a piece of paper. So this takes all the pressure off the appointment. Next, I'm going to give them the unique selling proposition, whatever's in that 7% option. We go through it. Hey, by the way, did you know that you qualify for our Move for Free program? No, I didn't even know you offered that. What is that? And I explain it to them and I have them sign it. This doesn't say they're getting it, by the way. This just says they qualify for it. And I explain it to them. What does that do? Something they didn't know they were going to get. And I know it's solving a problem. It's eliminating some of their headaches. I get them to sign it. In their head, they've already made up their mind. They want this. They've already made up in their mind that this is something that they want. Because no other agent has presented it to them. And it's eliminating one of their headaches. So now from here, I go here. Say, I'm not a one service fits all kind of guy. In fact, I let you choose how much you want to pay to get your home sold. And these are the 3 options that we offer. We have a 4% option. This is our least popular one because it's really the most work for you. Then we have a 6% option. This is what most traditional agents are going to come in and offer you. And then we have our 7% option, it's most potential and quickly becoming our most popular, because this is the option where you get that Move for Free program. Which one of these feels like the right fit for you? What do you think they say? Because the paper right before this, they just signed and said that they wanted that program, right? So when you show them this, it sways them into a 7% option. Because now, if they don't take the 7% option, they feel like they're losing something. It's really just around the psychology behind behind how you present it. Take the pressure off by giving them an easy out. Give them some kind of incentive that they didn't know they were going to get, that you know is going to solve a problem of theirs. Then let them pick which option they want and say, because you do qualify for the Move for Free program, that would be included in the 7%. Which one feels like the right fit for you? And I'll tell you, I get more 7% than 6%. Yeah, the Move for Free just comes out of the extra 1% you're getting, because most moves cost usually around $1,500 to $2,000. And if you look back on the Move for Free program, you have to have a minimum of $150,000 in volume sold to qualify for the program. Depending on what they do. So, right, so here's how you protect yourself from that. There's different tiers in the Move for Free program. If your home is sold between 150 and 250, you get $1,000 credit. If you're between 250 and 350, you get 1,500 and 350, you get 2,000. Most of the time, unless they're like a hoarder or they have specialty items like safes and pianos, most of the time, this is going to cover the majority of it. And even still, even if you get someone in this first tier and the move comes to $1,400, do you really think they're going to complain?
Is this like only local moves then? Because
They can,
I've
they
seen
can
like
do
8
big
to
state
10,
moves,
12
all
grand.
within this tier.
It's
You know what I
a
mean?
credit. Right.
Yeah, it's a credit.
So it's, the words are a little.
Not necessarily, because it could cover the whole move.
You have a mover that you typically use.
Yeah, I use you relax moving. I use another company called Kinetic Movers. But I'll give them a sheet of like our preferred movers and then they coordinate it from there.
I'm not beating you up, I'm just asking, I'm
That's
just
fine.
trying to understand.
She made me lose my.
I'm sorry.
Hey Jeremy, do you mind if I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So the Move for Free program that you offer, wouldn't, how do I want to word this? With you giving them that credit, wouldn't that take away from the benefit of you having the 7 cent? Like, wouldn't it end up you getting practically 6% depending on the sale price of the home?
Yeah, but again, it's not, it's not about you getting paid more money. You are, but you're offsetting it with the Move for Free program, right? And in some cases, you're not going to use the whole thing. So in an instance where the home is 400,000 and that extra 1% gives you an extra $4,000 and the move only costs $2,000, guess what? You just got an extra $2,000.
Mm. Okay, yeah, good
So yes,
point.
you are offsetting the Move for Free program with your commission. However, what you can do if you wanted to take it a step further, you could partner with a lender and have them pitch in on this. You could partner with a title company and have them, you could partner with just about anybody and have them partner on this to help offset some of that cost for you.
Okay. Thank
You just
you.
have us come out on the offer then at closing page 2.
Yeah, it just comes right off the top of the commission. That way Keller Williams doesn't get paid and then it comes out of yours. It comes off the top and then Keller Williams takes their cut from what's left. And I did get permission from Ryan to do it that way.
Can I have a comment about the question? Sure. I still like the value of it, even though you may get paid the same as the 6% or like the 7% because you're differentiating yourself from other agents and still giving that value.
Right.
So you may get more clients even though you're still getting paid the same as the 6%.
Yeah, because people talk about it, right? Like nobody enjoys moving, and you take that away from somebody. Someone, you know, they go to work and they talk, "Oh, how was the move? Oh my gosh, it was so stress free." Then you start talking. I've gotten people who have literally taken out of their contracts with other agents just so that they can work with me on this. So you got to be prepared to have those conversations.
How has the change in the commissions affected your tiered program? Because you're supposed to be getting the highest and best, netting them the most amount of money, shortest amount of time. And with the change in commissions, they have the opportunity of not automatically offering 3% and waiting to see what people are asking for. So are you having that conversation before you're having to sign this, or how are you working?
I haven't changed my position. I've never, like, if I have a seller that's not willing to pay buyer agent commission, I don't take the listing. I haven't run into a situation where a seller gives me that much kickback. You know, it's just a conversation of saying, can I share with you what frightens me about that? You know, it's been this way for so long. This is how it's been done. This is what people are used to. And let me ask you something. If you were out looking at houses and there were 2 houses that you really liked, and I said to you, this one over here is actually going to cost you probably about $12,000 more because the seller's not willing to pay an agent's commission. and I don't want to work for free, so I would have to ask you for that. This one over here actually is covering it. Which one is gonna be more favorable to you?
I have a rebuttal to that.
Okay.
I don't want to argue. I just feel it like we're still in a inventory deficit that they could negotiate a lesser amount because they might only have the only house in that neighborhood and there's 20 buyers for it. So they could potentially, instead of paying a full 3% commission, maybe there's a buyer that,
Said that. Could it be possible that if you were offering that compensation, it would bring you even more buyers because your buyer pool may be larger? And if we have a larger buyer pool and more buyers, could that ultimately net you more money in the end? So what advantage do you see by not offering that when every other house on the market is? Or most other houses, right?
But I mean, even if you have an offer that comes in and the buyer agent waives their commission, you're still going to present it that way.
Yeah.
When you're presenting to your seller.
yeah, but technically they already signed a 7% commission, so Jeremy could take the entire 7%.
Is that how the contract's worded though? Cause the contract's worded that this is the commission, this is what I'm paying a buyer's agent.
Mhm.
So if they waive that, that's kind of. you
If they
can't-
waive what?
Well, she's saying, so like, if you get an offer on the property and it's competitive, so it says, you know, you don't have to pay me a buyer's commission. She's saying then, okay, well then Jeremy would get the full 7%, but that's not how our listing contract worded.
Well, and in his tiered thing, it says includes the buyer agent commission. So if that goes away, Jeremy's just goes down to 4 or whatever it is.
So
I don't bring up the NAR issue at all prepared for questions, but I do not bring it up. I don't think people understand. And I think it puts us in a hot spot, like, this is the standard that we do. This is how it's been. So I just prepare myself for the
I don't-
folks and.
I don't approach the conversation. If they bring it up, I'll talk about it, but I don't. It's like he said, most people don't even understand it. I still talk with people today that don't even understand that there's two sides of a transaction. They still think that one agent controls both sides. So it's. I've never had, to this point, I've never had anybody question me on that. Like, I just give them the options and they pick.
Do you ever have people push back? I know I can get 5% because I've already met with da 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 da. What, do you backpedal at that point or do you stand firm at your
This is what it is. So, another story, I had the seller, and I went through all of this with him, and he said at the end, he's like, yeah, you know, it's just really not, it's not about the money, it's about the value. I was like, okay. And he didn't sign on the spot, he wanted to think about it, he said he was gonna get back to me in about a week or so. And a week went by and I didn't hear from him, so I called him back. He said, yeah, you know, Jeremy, it was like, it's so weird. The day after you came, I had an agent come and knock on my door because she had another house for sale down the street. And I let her come in and she gave me her spiel and she said that she would do it for 5%. And, you know, I didn't sign with her or anything. I just was wondering if that was something you were willing to do. And I said, well, hold on. I said, when we met, maybe I misunderstood. When we met, you said that what was most important to you was value and that money really wasn't the issue. So my question is, if that agent's willing to give away her money that quickly, what do you think she's going to do with yours? On top of that, it's not like I'm asking for more money for no reason. I already know what the pain point for that person is, and I'm solving that pain point. So now we have an agent that's discounting themselves for no reason at all versus someone else who's asking for more money but providing more value. Which one would you feel safer with?
That conversation go well and it's like, cause I took a 4% listing there because it was like 4% or we're going with the other guy. We like you, we want you, but this is, cause it's negotiable. You know, and that's what, you know, you've never had like, this is what I'm willing to pay and you walk away from it? Cause,
Oh, I have.
cause some money is better than no money when you're poor.
Yeah, I mean, no, like, everyone's gonna run their business different. You know what I mean? This is just what works for me. I know what value I'm bringing to the table and I know that it's solving people's problems. I'm not gonna provide all that value and discount it when everybody else is okay with it.
I mean, I don't like it, and the worst part was, once the offers came in, they're now paying the buyer agent 2.5, paying me 2. So as I'm going over the contract, I give them this look, like,
Yeah.
fuckers.
I mean, the other question you can ask is, when was the last time that you found the cheapest service was the best service? Anytime I'm given an objection, I can always rebut that objection with another question. And when you try to tell somebody something, it's like, who's heard the phrase, like, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. When you try to tell somebody something, they've got this wall up. And they're probably not going to believe you, or it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. But when you reframe it in the sense of a question, now it gets them to think, and it gets them to tell themselves instead of you telling them. And they're going to believe themselves faster than they believe you.
I heard on a podcast, it said, there was a guy talking about sales just like this. And he said, if he gets somebody that comes in and is like fighting on the commission, whatever it is, he says, so let me get this straight. You have me in here to negotiate one of the biggest sales of your life, I don't know, whatever it is. And these other agents that you brought in have, on their very first test, demonstrated that they can't get what they're asking for, what their actual fee is. Is that who you want to work with?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that.
Happens when sellers stubborn and they have the belief that they don't believe in paying extra because they think they can do majority of what a realtor can do.
Ask them how many houses they've sold. Ask them if they have experience with selling a house, I mean, and you're gonna run into those people, you're gonna run into investors that do like for sale by owner. You're not gonna capture everything. It's just impractical to think that you're gonna go on every single listing appointment and nail down every single one at the highest percent. It's just unreal. But the best thing you can do is prepare yourself for those conversations. Because if you're prepared for those conversations, you're going to be able to get the majority of them, and the ones you don't get are you don't want to work with anybody.
In my experience, those people just want their ego stroked. Tell them how great they are, and also, this process, so you understand how hard this is, like, kind of take that route, and then you'll see if there's any give, because they start to remember the stress, and sometimes they'll be willing to pay you something.
Some good service.
Well, then.
Hey, Jeremy, I have another question. And I apologize because via Zoom, I can't see your slideshow. So if the answer's on there, yeah, I'm sorry. But for the You Move program, so say you win a listing appointment and they want to go with that 7%. How does it benefit them, I guess, with them going with the 7% how do I want to word this? Like, in reality, they're the ones still paying for the moving service. Like, how do I want to, okay, say they went with the 6%. They would still call the mover and pay that fee to them. So in reality, if they go with the 7%, is it just you getting a hold of that mover, or what is it that you actually do? I don't think I'm fully understanding that.
Choose a 7%. When it comes time to start the move, I give them the moving company's information. And then when the moving company gets paid, the moving company gets paid right off the HUD. They don't get paid by the seller. They get paid right off the HUD when I go to sell it. So it's out of sight, out of mind for them. All they have to do is make sure their stuff is packed up for the movers.
Okay, gotcha. So you pay them up front, pretty much.
The movers get paid off the settlement statement at closing.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I missed that.
Closing gift. Paid it. So
And that's also.
It's important to note then that you have to
it needs to
facilitate
go on the
that.
HUD.
Yes.
And it's also a way to sway them into using one of your preferred moving companies, which you can also work out arrangements with. If you know that you're working with 10, if you know you're working with 20 sellers a year and they're all gonna have to move, and you're gonna use one moving company, you go to that moving company and say, hey, we need 20, 20 clients a year, what kind of rate can you work out with? And then between partnering with the moving companies.
thank
between
you.
partnering with Lenders and title companies, there, you can offset the majority of that. Can you, oh,
Yeah, Jeremy, are you gonna print this out or have it available for us? Like you did last time?
Julie,
You had it
yeah,
printed
Julie
out?
will have copies of
Good.
everything.
Thank you.
So if you need a copy of the tiered structure, this is just like a pretty generic one that we use. It's got the move to free program, but guys, I can't stress the importance of coming up with additional programs. Like you can do, like you've probably seen something before, like your home sold guaranteed or I'll buy it, right? Like give people the peace of mind that, hey, if it doesn't sell in the market, then I'll buy it, right? And then you put the terms of that in the addendum. I'm not an attorney, have an attorney write the addendum, it'll cost like $150, but then you can use it forever, right? Come up with different programs that you know are gonna solve problems based on the type of sellers that you're meeting with. Then, once you know what kind of seller you're meeting with, tailor this 7% option to a program that's gonna solve that problem for the seller. Then go through the process of having them sign the easy out. If you guys do this, you don't have to, this is what we do. The easy out agreement, whatever the program is that you're offering them, right? Say they qualify for it, now let them choose what option they want. Because they qualify for that program in their head, they've already decided they want it. That sways them to the 7% option.
Yeah, quick question. I've got somebody, I love it. I think it's a great idea. They choose a 7%, they get a $2,000 credit.
Mhm.
And we get the settlement and the move actually costs $3,200.
Mhm.
They get the 2,000 comes off of the HUD. I at some point had to tell them you're responsible for the other 12.
You don't, when you're going over this with them, you're explaining to them the tiers, right? So they should already know.
2,000 credit.
They should already know, hey, listen, because your home is worth 400,000, you're gonna get a $2,000 credit. In most cases, that covers the majority, if not all of the move. In the event that it doesn't, the only thing that you're gonna be responsible for is the difference. Is that fair? Complaining about getting 2,000.
You'd know that before they, what the cost would be.
As long, I'm still gonna have to, because they'll forget,
Yeah.
we're still gonna, hey,
But that's,
remind me.
again, why you get them to sign it. You get them to sign it, and then if they don't choose the 7% option, then you just rip it up. They don't use it.
You get your to work with you on prices, like.
Yeah, yeah, it's all negotiable, guys. This is just, I'm just giving you like the framework right now. Questions?
How, I have a friend who's actually looking at selling his mother's house for a public sale. And I'm trying to convince him, let me try it. Let me do it.
Why is he selling his mother's house?
She'll be eventually moving into a facility. Yeah. So they're gonna have public sale to sell her personal belongings.
So what would happen if she stayed in that house?
If she stayed in the house.
I'm just digging into the
Yeah,
situation.
so right now she's getting to the point where she can't take care of it.
So could it be possible that if she stayed there too long, that the house could deteriorate in value? She may potentially hurt herself, right? So these are all problems that could happen if
Yeah.
she stayed there.
He's looking at doing everything at once because it's so easy. But I'm talked to him a little bit. I made the comment that, well, you have a limited market with a public auction.
Mhm.
Where I can present it to a much larger field.
Oh, okay, I understand. So he wants
Yeah.
to sell it at an auction.
Yeah, at an auction. While he's selling the personal property, the auctioneer will then sell the real estate.
I would just ask him, hey, what is it that's attractive to you about an auction versus just taking it to the market? And see what he says. Oh, well, an auction, I don't have to deal with it. It's guaranteed to get sold.
Mhm.
So it sounds like what you're really looking for is peace of mind that it's gonna get sold.
Mhm.
What happens if it doesn't get sold? Like, when I'm having a conversation, before I even go on an appointment, I've usually had about a 45-minute conversation with that person, and I know everything about them. I know where they're living, I know why they want to move, I know what's gonna happen if they don't move, I know where they want to move, I know what that's gonna look like when they move there, and what problems it's gonna solve. Like, I can't stress the importance of having those upfront conversations, and Guys, that's like a whole nother like sales training. I encourage you guys all to look up Phil Jones and Jeremy Minor. That's where I get all my sales training. They are awesome, but they will teach you how to ask these questions. They will teach you how to dive deep into these conversations and really get to the root problem. And that's what's going to set you up to be able to solve the right problems. So real quick, I'm just going to go through the process. The initial call, you're going to discover what problems you're going to solve. Once you know what problems you're going to solve, you're going to customize the presentation to that client. You're going to create that tiered structure. Then you're going to present, but you're going to present it in that order. You're going to present, in my instance, the easy out agreement, taking all the pressure off. You're going to present to them that unique selling proposition addendum, which is just a program that you're offering that nobody else is offering, telling them they qualify for it. Then you're going to review the 3 options. They've already in their head decided they want that additional program. Most of the time, they're going to choose that higher option. I've only had one time, and it's actually it's the deal we're in right now, actually. One time, this is the one time it's ever happened. I went and did a listening presentation. It's actually one of my childhood friends' parents. And I gave them the 3 options. I did the Move for Free program for them. And then they came to me and they said, well, Jeremy, I was doing the math and, you know, an extra 1% is going to be, you know, about $3,500. And I just don't think a move is going to cost that much. He said, well, do you want to do the move yourself? And he said, well, you know, if it's going to cost that much and we can save that money, yeah, we don't mind doing it ourselves. And that's okay. All you're doing is giving them the option, right? You're not forcing them into it. You're just giving them the option. That's been the one and only time I've ever had somebody sit there and say they did the math and said, well, we're going to do the 6 years.
It's no different than when you go to McDonald's and it's a better deal to order things individually than it is to get the value.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about how you present it and what problems are solving. That's really it. Because that's what's going to differentiate you from every other agent. Every other agent can sell that house and help them find a new house. We've all passed a test that says we can do that. We have to find a way that's going to differentiate ourselves and make us stand out. Because then what? If they don't go with us, they get that feeling of being in the grocery store, choosing that higher priced product because they have the fear of missing out on something. But if we don't offer anything in addition to that, then we're going to be stuck trying to fight negotiating for 5%, 4.5%. If you clearly define your value and ask them to pick, they're going to choose. They're not going to try to negotiate with you. Or if they do try to negotiate with you, then you just explain to them, look, I'm not a one service fits all, and I can appreciate the fact that you're trying to negotiate. I strongly feel that the value is here. I mean, do you disagree that this wouldn't be worth 7%? And let them tell you no. It's going to be really hard for them to tell you no to your face. Any other questions, guys? What time do I have?
49.
Cool. We got 10 more minutes for questions, guys.
So,
Was this helpful? I get super nervous doing this kind of stuff, so I hope it was helpful to you guys.
I mean, you hit it. You stress the fact that you need to be able to present your value to the seller. You know,
Right.
What value are you bringing to the table?
Yeah. What value are you bringing that no other agent is bringing?
Jeremy,
They're going to try to negotiate.
do you personally use any type of do you present that you use any type of marketing other than the MLS to clients? Just out of curiosity.
That's actually a great question. So I do touch on the marketing that I do, but I don't go with a full-blown marketing plan. I used to, and I'll be honest, I just think it's silly because we can all glorify what we're going to do, putting it on the MLS, putting it on social media, putting it on Google, right? Like everybody can glorify that. But what problem does that solve for the client? You're just like every other agent when you do that. Every agent has this great marketing plan that they're going to go over. So instead of going over this great marketing plan, I'm gonna touch on it. I'm gonna say, hey, you know, we are going to advertise your property on, you know, Google, the MLS, all the syndication websites, over 150 different syndication websites like Zillow and Realtor.com. We're going to drive traffic to your property. We're going to do an open house. I spend probably about 10, maybe 15 minutes talking about how I'm gonna market the property. And then I'm talking more about whatever program I'm offering or learning more about their situation. Like I make it about them, right? As soon as you take the attention off them and put it on you, you lost.
Okay, that's a good point.
Time for a few more questions, anybody? No?
Awesome.
Cool. Was this helpful, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
That's all I got for you guys.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Here you go, Julie. If you guys want copies of anything, just ask Julie, okay?
Julie, is it possible that you can email out the slideshow since I wasn't able to see most of it?
But my, significant other,
They don't walk.
No, I had to.
Yeah, get a choice. Yeah, well, you get your. Now without the distance. Me, even when I do stuff, this back in. You want to do something, this, because we. All, yeah, yeah, that was.
Real, yeah, her. Her.
Julie,
On the 21st, so I need to.
You need to get yourself in shape.
Your.
Well, yeah. When you're anniversary.
Yep.
are you able to hear me?
1 year dated,
All.
3 bedroom,
70-mile. Well.
but he's. He's ready to go out of water heater, 2 years old.
Henceforth.
He's done the major stuff.